Nice to meet you, man.
You
Definitely
too.
your content a lot, and
Thanks.
definitely one of the few that I have to go hit those videos the second they pop up. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, man.
They definitely give a lot of insight to new players.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
definitely.
Depends on who the commenter is, I think, but yeah, sometimes.
So starting things off, man. How'd you get into streaming and gaming? Like, where'd you come from?
Been gaming my whole life. Let's see. First video game I ever played was Super Mario Brothers. I think I was 7. And I've been playing games ever since. Nintendo, then Sega Genesis, PlayStation, Dreamcast. It was consoles until I think my dad got a PC for himself, and I ended up getting MechWarrior 2 Mercenaries and a flight stick, like in one of those old like Microsoft like flight sticks. And I remember playing, dude, that, and like I got Ghost Bear's Legacy, and I think that I just like no life the shit out of that. I was probably like 14, 15.
I think you're the first person I've heard in probably the past 5 or 6 years bring up Mech Warriors, to be honest with you.
Dude,
it's been a long time since I heard
loved
that.
Mech Warrior. Still do, man. I'm still waiting for them to make a good one. Like, I feel like they get some kind of a bankroll, and then they just make like what they figure will be close enough. Like this last one that they made could have been awesome, and then they just screwed the pooch because they used like the BattleTech engine that they had been using and just tried to like put you inside of the cockpit or whatever, and it just wasn't any damn good.
Yeah,
it had way too many issues. But yeah, so then I don't know, PC gaming kind of ever since. I've always had like consoles and stuff, but like I even have a PlayStation 4 Pro, I think now, but it's like literally sitting over here unplugged, like just collecting dust like on a table.
Yeah.
It's a media streaming device now.
Exactly.
Yeah, basically, like I might as well go hook up to my TV and use the media streaming thing.
Hey, I think I want to watch.
That's what I use. That's what I think I use my old PS4. That's I think what I used it primarily for was like you pull a bootleg movie off a BitTorrent and just like use that to watch it on your television. You know, like that was like its whole purpose. Like I don't even remember when I, you know what, I got the PS4 Pro because I wanted to play Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's why I bought it. And then I played through Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I was like, all right, now what do I do with you?
Just sits there.
Like I'll just wait for part 2 or whatever to come out and play that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of Counter-Strike, a lot of Team Fortress, a lot of Dota. I was a Dota junkie. I got like 10,000 hours in Dota. And then I have like like every other nerd that likes RPGs, you end up playing EverQuest, World of Warcraft, Anarchy Online. I have characters in WoW with like years of played time, but I don't play WoW anymore because that shit's like heroin. Like you can't, you know what I mean?
Did you play New World? You did, right?
I played it. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I know life the shit out of New World. In the one beta phase, I did. I don't know, like however long it ran. I think I did a couple hundred hours.
Yeah, I was right.
Like, I was doing like 16, 18, 20-hour days sometimes playing with Sacriel and Kongfan and Grims, just going hard. And then like ended up being like the man when it came to like the two-handed axe hammer combo. Cuz I didn't look up somebody's guide on it or anything. I was just like, well, dude, that's got some mobility. I think that'd be fun cuz originally I was going to do like hammer ice gauntlet. And that didn't have the mobility I wanted. And then I realized that the axe had the rush. And I was like, oh, dude, I could probably make some nasty combos with this. And then I started just experimenting with it. And then, like, I swear, like 90% of the player base didn't realize that there were 3 hits with two-handers because you didn't have to hold the mouse forever. You could do like that middle hold like swing. And that like changed the game because then I started doing these nutty combos on people and then going into like doing Twitch Rivals when they had the Twitch Rivals event, and I was first out of everyone. like as a solo player, like just on the rankings, I was first out of everybody after the first round. I was like, look who's number one, motherfucker, you know.
Yeah, right.
I was like, oh, Dad's got games still, like, you know, it was funny, but yeah, so like that's kind of been my history with gaming. Lots of RPGs, lots of shooting games, lots of like MOBA stuff. I was competitive. I was like pro competitive in CS and I was pro competitive in Dota. Between those two games, and then, you know, life happens, you get older, and then my brain slowed down. And, you know, it wasn't popular. It wasn't like something you could make money with back then. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I was gonna say, was that during Source? I feel like that would have been probably around Source time.
1.6.
Okay.
Yeah, like the guy that ran Cal, the entire Cyber Athlete League, the dude that ran Cal lived like 20 minutes from my house.
Oh, you're fucking.
And he was like a kid in high school.
Yeah.
He was like some 17-year-old dude in high school, and I think I was like 19, something like that. And yeah, we just kind of like, I just played, man. And then when I was in like my like early to mid 20s, that was like Dota, like hardcore Dota playing, like all day long, every day. Dude, it was like the whole thing. Like, you know, don't have time to go to work, got a game. Like that was all that I did. I can't even tell you how many jobs I lost when I was younger. You know.
Me and Box and I, you kind of lit a fire in my gut there when you were talking about CS, because me and Box have been grinding some CS for the first time in forever recently again.
Dude, I honestly haven't played since like CS Source came out. I kind of like hung up my hat, and I went like full into like the whole Dota thing. I played Dota back in like the Warcraft 3 days when like Spectre was a beta tested character, and like Ice Frog gave us like dummy logins for Warcraft Ice for the Frozen Throne, and we were like running, and like Pendragon broke off of them and started Riot. I remember when Pendragon started Riot, and offered my buddy a job like the first week that they decided they were going to do this whole thing. He offered my buddy a job, and my buddy was like, nah, I'm going to go to college and become a pharmacist. And he goes, he like graduates from pharmacy school. Meanwhile, fucking Riot blows up, and he's like, motherfucker, I could have been like a major shareholder in that company. He's like, I'd be rich as shit right now. And I'm like, yeah, you should have taken the job, man.
You should have taken the job. That's funny.
So everybody, go ahead.
I wanted to jump in here. I was just gonna ask, like, what drew you to Tarkov after, you know, that series of games?
I had been like everybody else, right? Like you hit a lull. What the hell was I even playing back then? I don't even know what I was playing. Back then I had a gaming laptop because I was a financial planner for like a little over a decade. I was working as a financial planner at the time, and I had a gaming laptop because I was doing like 30,000 miles a year in my car, just driving to like different places to meet with people. I don't even know. I was probably playing like League or something that would run like without much of an issue, you know, like in little, you know, coffee shops or whatever, or like Diablo, probably, knowing me. And I remember watching a random stream. I was watching Sacriel, of all people. I was watching Sacriel play this fucking shooter, and I was like, what the hell is this? Because it looked just insane. Like, it looked hairy. Like, you know, he was, at one point, I remember he had a Taz, and a Scav was fucking him up. And he was like, and he went like prone in a rut. It was that little rut on the side of like building 5 and customs, like in the construction area, that like sunk in spot. He like took a header like into that rut because he was getting shot at by a Scav, and like popped up and blasted his face off with this Taz. And I was like, what is this game? And then I went to the website and remember reading like, you know, hardcore, blah, blah, blah. It's supposed to be super hard, yada, yada. And I was like, that looks interesting. And I was like, fuck it, let's try it out. Downloaded the game. I bought EOD off the rip. I didn't even bother getting like the cheap version. I was like, fuck that, we're going big time. And then downloaded it, fired it up on that gaming laptop I had, and went to Shoreline because I was like, sure, whatever, like whatever map. Went to Shoreline, and it was a slideshow because I had like a 670M or some shit in this fucking gaming laptop. And it was like, I mean, I'm not shitting you. It was like 3 FPS. It was a literal slideshow. Yeah. Dude, it looked like I was back in the day, like growing up in like some country podunk house on dial-up internet, and you like were trying to like look at an image, and you had to like wait a minute and a half for like the thing to like finally show up on the screen, you know? Like that's what it felt
Every
like.
step it resets too. Like every time you take a step, it would just reset. I'm guessing, right? Probably that
Yeah,
bad.
like it was so bad that like I couldn't really see what was going on. Like the map loaded and it actually put me in the map and I could hear things going on and I could hear scavs yelling at me and firing at me and I was like, I'm going to fucking die because there was like I couldn't react. It was literally 3 frames. So I just remember getting shot at and then just ripped apart. Like I died. And I was like, well, I can't play this with this hardware. So I literally like disassembled the laptop because I realized that it was more valuable to part it out and sell it in pieces on eBay than it was to try and sell the whole thing. So I sold the mobile GPU and like all kinds of other shit. And then I bought like some gaming desktop, some little mini tower that I still have, with like a Ryzen 1600 in it or some shit and like a 500 series GPU. AMD GPU off of some kid on Craigslist. And that was the first PC that I used to like play Tark. And it got like, 45 frames or some shit on Shoreline, but I could actually see what I was doing. And then I started like just going like, like I wonder if I could like do what Sacriel's doing and like make a little like video here and there or something. So I started making like loot running guides. Like I was like the king of hatchlings, dude. I was like, the first video I ever made was like 42 minutes long, and it was a guide on how to hatchet run customs for 750,000 rubles an hour.
Oh my god. Such small rubles, but hey, it's worth it, right?
Yeah, well, like back then, 750K was a lot because there was no fleet.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Like we're talking like no face hitbox Fort Kiver days, and it was like, yeah, get these keys. And then you run these rooms and like hit filing cabinets. Like back in the day, dude, like a roller was like 90K. Like you'd find a roller in a filing cabinet drawer. It was like 90,000. A Bitcoin was, you could find Bitcoin like pretty regularly. It was like a 1% chance to find a Bitcoin in a filing cabinet drawer. So gold chains were like 40K, something like that. Like they were worth a lot. And then, since then they nerfed the shit out of safes and like everything else. And then they knocked the value of like all that stuff down. So you couldn't really make the money anymore. But yeah, that was like my first video. And then I started kind of streaming and it was beat, cause like I had a relatively crappy box and then kind of got to the point where I was like, man, I kind of needed like a new PC, but like I had been streaming that whole time on a desk that was like a fifth this size. Like it was like nothing, man. I had the keyboard. Like I built into like a second PC and I had to put the keyboard like for the second PC like on a shelf on the desk because there wasn't enough room for everything. Yeah. Talking into like a Yeti Pro that my dad got me for like my birthday or some shit. It was just crazy, man. But that's how I got into it. I watched Sacriel play the game and then started, I don't know, trying to make content, and then people kept coming back to the streams and stuff when I did them. Like here and there. It was a slow burn though, man. I went back and looked, like my first full year, I think I averaged like 5 viewers or something. And like 2 of them were like my cell phone and like,
right.
Like an iPad. You know what I mean?
Right. Whatever device you could turn on. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But I like tried to work my way into like the right kind of places. Like I was an emissary for a little while for BSG. And then that whole copyright strike thing debacle happened. And then I kind of was like, fuck this. And then bounced because I figured like I should be like content first and not like, they weren't paying me, like it was a volunteer thing. And I was like, well, that's kind of fucked up they did that. So, yeah, so I bounced from that and then just kind of like kept plugging, man. Just kind of like around work hours, just kind of ground away. And then eventually it got to the point where I could, I started making real money. And then when I finally started making real money, I was like, well, shit, if I can make enough to pay my bills off of this for 3 months, then I'll quit. And that happened April 1st of 2019. Yeah, I think April 1st, 2019 was when it happened. And then I said, fuck it, I'm going to quit. And then I told my wife I'm quitting my job and she looked at me like I was fucking crazy. But then I pulled out like this 3-page ledger that I kept in a bullet journal of like daily figures going back 3 months, and I was like, look, like this is rolling 7, rolling 30. Like I had all these like rolling averages of like money that I was making, like how much I had made, and like totals, and like the whole thing. Like it was a nice, neat ledger. I kept the whole thing, showed it to her, and was like, I can pay the bills. And she was like, if you miss one fucking bill, But so far, man, I mean, it's been 4 years. Yeah, just about since I went full time. So
Heck yeah.
yeah.
Nice,
It's been
congratulations.
3 years full time. So can't complain.
What are there any games outside of Tarkov right now that you just cannot put down?
No. Not really. I kind of like bounce around. Usually for me, like Tarkov takes up so much of my time and like my effort that if I play something else, it's usually like very recreational. Like I genuinely don't have the time or like the bandwidth to try and like understand another game to the level that it like that I would want to be able to understand it. Cause like I'm built in a way where if I learn how to do something like pretty well, I kind of want to like tell other people about it, So I want to like make videos about it. But if you're going to make something educational, you can't be wrong. Because if you're wrong this much, you're going to have 50 people telling you that you were wrong about that one thing, even if it's a side point, right? Like I made a video about how the cycle needs to fix this issue that they have with being so spongy because a solo player will get completely stomped by a trio. Like it just is what it is. And I had made the mistake of saying that the game sets up its MMR system based on the gear that you're wearing. It puts you up against people that are relatively equivalently geared. Even though that wasn't the point. The point was how spongy the fights were. Right. The response that I got overwhelmingly was that's not how the MMR system in the game works. Right, because it's based on like they had to give me like this well actually answer, and it's like guys, like you're completely missing the point. Like I'm really happy that you guys know this and I don't or whatever, but like it's completely side saddle, So they love to jump on you about that. So when it comes to playing games, I tend to like want to get into the systems and like really get to learn it and understand it, so that way I can kind of like show people like what I've learned. So for the most part, I tend to like play other games like super recreationally. Lately, it's been Star Citizen. I have like, I don't know, 6 or 7 ships in Star Citizen. I really like the stealth bomber. That thing is fun.
I
just
sold my Star
fly around in an eclipse and hit people with torpedoes, man. It's pretty good. Yeah, so Star Citizen. I've been playing Cycle Frontier like very little. I played it a lot more during the beta. It feels like it's more of the same, but I'm like a partner with them, so like I know that there's like some like drop streams and things coming up at the end of the month that they're gonna want me to be a part of because I have like a certain day that I'm supposed to be like, featured or whatever. I don't know. We're supposed to be playing that for drops for people, and like that's cool. Like it's a fun game. It's just like one of those things where it's like way better playing with friends. I play like League sometimes, but it's like ARAMs, like shit that doesn't have any pressure. I don't want to feel like I got to be a sweat because I like those days are all done. Like my brain doesn't work as fast as people that are half my age, so like there's no point. You know what I'm saying? Like I got slow brain. You know what I'm saying? Like
I feel you.
Like if you looked at the bell curve, like I'm right on average. Like I'm not fast anymore, so like I don't have the reaction times and shit, and I don't bother trying to. I just kind of like do my thing. I still make plays, but it's not like that. Like the focal point of what I'm doing isn't based on that anymore. So it's kind of just like, yeah, I like playing game modes where like people aren't gonna look at me and be like, "Wow, you're fucking bad."
Right? Yeah.
Like I'll go play Elden Ring and take a shit on that game, but I'm gonna make the cheesiest build possible because I'm gonna beat the shit. Like I don't care about whether or not it's just I'm a naked with only my fists or a torch and like a bucket on my head. Like. I don't care about that. I don't have to beat what's her face Perry only or whatever. Like I don't care.
The worst part, and I know this firsthand, is that the League community will let you know if you're not doing your part.
Oh yeah, I've never streamed League. Fuck all that, dude. Hell no. Not a chance.
Don't want to deal with that
fact-
at all.
In fact, if they started like trying to dump on me about it, I probably would just be like, "Oh, I'm not supposed to build this way, okay," and then I would just do that anyway. Like I'll take like an AP champion and I'll just start filling them up with tank gear. Like I don't give a fuck.
Attack
Like,
speed
I'll end
on
up just-
hit.
Like what? But knowing my luck, I would accidentally discover like some unknown fucking meta or some shit. Like,
It's the
wow,
secret
did you know
tech.
if you stack Warmogs on Nami, she's amazing? You know, like just dumb shit. You know.
All right. Shifting the conversation more back towards Tarkov. We wanted to talk a little bit about this wipe, and like wanted to get your opinion on what your favorite part of this wipe has been and least favorite part of this wipe.
Man, there's Jesus. This is only an hour.
Right?
Okay, so polarizing shit that people will hate me for. I actually really like the inertia system.
Yes.
I agree.
I think it's fucking fine the way it is. And I think
Yes.
the people that like to complain about the inertia system are people that tend to like to blame the reasons why they lose on something other than their own fuck ups.
Thank you.
Preach.
I
Just
appreciate
like
that.
they will blame this shit, like the reason why they lose on like any other game. They could go play. It's the same crowd that went and played Overwatch and would bitch that Soldier 76 has a fucking aimbot ultimate. You know, well, the only reason why I lost is because no, dude, you position yourself poorly and you're fucking bad and you picked the wrong fight. Like, you know, analyze your shit and figure out what you could have done better. You know,
Hard
but people don't
facts.
want to do that because they don't want to blame themselves for anything. It's never their fault. It's always somebody else. So you know, I think the inertia system is fine the way it is. I really don't see a problem with it, especially for people that are like, dude, I don't see a fucking one person with max strength bitching about inertia. Not one. Ain't a motherfucker in the house. Somebody gets
No.
max strength and all of a sudden, what do you mean inertia? What? I don't even know what you're talking about. Like they have no
Yeah.
like no one complains about it else. It's only the guys that are like, you know, sub 20 strength that get into drift mode when they're at 55 kilos and they start
Drift
to
mode.
you know what I'm saying? Like they start turning into
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift the PMC and they hate it. And it's like, okay, well, drop your backpack and throw the other gun on the ground, and then you
Yeah.
know have a firefight, or the you know again same guy like level 20. Why can't I wear the you know the M1A SAS and the T5 Reddit or whatever and run around with an Alton on my head? You know, because you weigh 42 kilos when you got that kit on because your gun is 12 kilos by itself, and that's why it doesn't work out great. It's not made for
Yeah.
you. It's made for somebody that went to the weight room. You know,
Right?
so they get miffed about that stuff because they can't play the way that they want to.
Yep.
And I've always countered this with, yeah, that's the point. Like that's literally what Nikita's making you do.
Yeah.
He wants you to
Get
figure
that
out
skill.
ways
Yeah.
to play that you don't like because this isn't supposed to be a comfortable thing for you. It's supposed to be like annoying. Like if you're annoyed, then it's working. This is like how
Right.
I've always put
Yeah.
it. You know?
My favorite thing that Nikita has ever said is the game's not meant to be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be fun. I have a like whenever people come to my chat, and like they try to bitch about the game, I will literally go like, "Oh, Nikita, what do you think about that?" And I have a hotkey of him just looking into this camera, going, "Fuck you," like,
Yeah.
and that's it. It's just like that 1 second, "Fuck you," and then it just turn it off. And I'm like, "Oh, well, apparently he doesn't care about your feelings," you know.
It's the
Um,
truth. I mean,
Yeah, so like I think systems like that, and he's also put it in a way where it's like the reason why healing has an animation, the reason why like doing surgery takes a little while. When you eat food, it takes a little bit. Everything in the game is designed in a way where you're supposed to make an active choice that would leave you vulnerable. So
yeah.
if you're going to try and like take out the mother load of gear that you've acquired and now you're in red weight and every little move you make costs you stamina, you can do that, but you're going to be a massive target of opportunity. And when you die and you complain about it, you could have dropped those other 20 kilos and gotten a little bit more mobility, but instead you chose that you were going to gamble it. And that's what he's trying to evoke in people is like, you can do this, but trying to take the faster way out with all of this extra stuff is going to end up potentially costing you. And that's an active choice. Just like you come up on an extract and you realize there's an extract camper. If they get the jump on you and somehow you manage to evade and live, do you engage them or do you just fucking leave? You know, do you go a different way? Well, if your only other option is to leave through an extract that you can't have a backpack full of stuff in order to take, like the side exit from interchange, for instance,
Right.
you drop the bag, but you get to keep your ass. So do you engage that guy and potentially die and lose all of your stuff, or do you just cut your losses and bounce for that one raid? And yeah, it's super fucking annoying that extract campers exist, but again, that's a choice that you are making. And if you decide to gamble it and you lose, do you bitch that there was an extract camper, or do you blame yourself for just saying like, well, I could have just cut my losses? You know, no one ever wants to like take that route out because that means that you've admitted defeat or whatever.
Yep.
So in that regard, like I think Tarkov is awesome. And for this patch, like I like the inertia system and I like how the weight systems work, and I like how they've especially with this last run with like the animation changes and stuff, how much more smooth that looks.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, it looks nice. Stuff that I don't
looks
like
beautiful.
is kind of like the same old, like the same old sound issues. You know, they obviously need to completely rebuild that shit. That's been something that's been around forever.
Yeah, as long as I
The
can-
DC problems that seem to always be prevalent, and I don't think will go away as with Tarkov built in its current state. I just don't think it's going, like, it will always be a problem as long as people are able to phone in from like half the planet away and fight you. So there's not really much that you can do about it. You know, I'd like to see like more of the animation stuff. You know, mantling, climbing ladders would be sweet. You know,
Yeah.
those kinds of things. And like something that's gonna like want to push people away from running every raid with a mutant and like tier 6 armor
Please.
forever, because like in the long run of the game, that will literally be the only thing that you will fight. Will be guys that are, there'll be two like tiers of enemies. It'll guys that'll be mostly decked out with like some, you know, zero recoil crazy hammer gun versus somebody that is running around ass naked with like a major hurt stick and is risking next to nothing but can take all because, you know, they're a literal glass cannon just running around like ready to take advantage of somebody that's not looking, or, you know, gets a good shot off or whatever. Which is actually what I like about Tarkov, because like everybody should feel nervous, you know, no matter what you're wearing, you should feel nervous, in my opinion. But that I would like to see like an in between. You know, I'd like to see guys that are running like, you know, pretty mid-grade gear and make some things like more of a firefight than just you know, whoever hits their, you know, their opponent's head first with like the high pen ammo and drops them, you know.
Sure. I guess that kind of touches on your least favorite.
Yeah, I mean, like, least favorite would just be the guys that incessantly bitch about mechanics that will never change.
Oh, you mean the people we've had since day one?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
well, dude, there's two main crowds in Tarkov, right? Like, there's the purists that say, like, well, Tarkov is supposed to be primarily a survival game, and like the idea is to play like a little bit slower, and you aren't necessarily supposed to like run like crazy. And then there's like the other side that says, like, you know, and like the I always refer to them as people that are more of the entertainment side, guys that will play like hyper aggressive on purpose because it's more riveting to watch, and it is. It's more exciting gameplay to watch, right? And that's where you end up getting like this dichotomy. You've got people that play slower and more quiet, and try to be like a little bit more tactical in their approach and get the drop on people, use the element of surprise to their benefit. And then you have players that primarily end up doing like the rushdown stuff. The vocal people on the rushdown side of things are typically the people that think like an inertia bad, and like you know, like the right side peak mechanic bad, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, it needs balancing. And in my case, I just look at it like, well, that's how your body's shaped. the rifle's on your right shoulder, you're showing less of your body when you lean around the corner or to the right side as opposed to the left because you're only showing a third of your body instead of 2/3.
Right.
Mhm.
Common sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's just how like like I don't hold my gun here.
Right. Yeah. You
know,
can't
it's not
cancel
like
move like that.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not like a body cam with a barrel on it. But yeah, in those cases, like those people tend to be the guys that are more tailored toward like arena. So my hope is that everyone will kind of shut the fuck up and just play the game depending on once arena's in, depending on like which side it is that you prefer to be on, you know. And
Yeah.
hopefully like the whole like superiority complex BS doesn't end up like rearing its ugly head. If it were me, I'd like the thing that I can't stand the most is like the guys that just complain for complaint's sake, because it's just not what they like. It's not what they prefer, because it all comes down to preference instead of just like looking at the game for what it is,
Yeah, that's kind of a common saying that DMG is now picked up. I have jokingly, as Snow Sherpa this wipe to get him to get Kappa, have told him multiple times when he had problems, just get better, just get better. And it was kind of a joke, and now that is literally what we say all the time to people. They come in and complain, bro, just get better, bro.
Just get better, man.
Literally, chats right now, chats just be better. All right, just
be better.
Just get
be
better,
man. Yeah,
It's
like
just-
I don't complain about Tarkov mechanics anymore because there's no point. Like
right.
we all know what's good, and we all know what we love about it, and most people know after I don't know a few hundred hours probably they've experienced the things that everybody's been complaining about for 4 years.
Right.
Like the things that they don't like. I just look at it like the people that see Tarkov for what it is, don't bitch about it, And if you want like good content creators to go by, like you look at how Deadly Slob plays, you look at how Willers plays, those guys, or like Geeks, those guys will approach a situation, win, lose, or draw. They just say GG. They pack up their shit. They put on the next kit and they go back into the next raid, And if they do something bad or they're evaluating their own gameplay, they'll just be like, yeah, I probably should have done it this way. Jesse's the same way. Like, I probably should have done it this way. I probably should have done it that way. It's not like, oh, that guy was blah, 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 and came ripping around the corner and he's got a 190 ping and he's playing from the moon or something. No wonder he beat me. It's none of that. It's none of that. It's just like, oh, GG's, good shit, and they pack it up and go to the next one. That's kind of like how you have to be. And Trey's the same way. Like, Trey, and it, like he knows that I've said this about him before. Trey used to be the guy that would blame everybody else, and then he kind of like had this little switch thrown in his head where he's just like, oh, whatever, it's just a video game, and then he moves on. Like he doesn't complain about it really. And you see like the meteoric rise that he's had just in like the last 6 to 8 months. Like he went from being somebody that had like 40, 50 viewers to somebody that's got 1,100 because he's good and because he's not toxic anymore. And that's kind of like the way you have to act now. Nobody wants to see the guy that's just going to sit there and like pound the desk and, get mad and like flip tables and shit.
It's not 2015
What about XQC,
anymore.
though?
It's not.
Yeah, like XQC having what's it, 1812 overture, but for fist pounds on the table. Yeah.
It's really funny to watch.
That's an amazing meme though. Whoever made that is a fucking genius.
Oh, fuck. So I know you brought up arenas. With arenas coming out, how do you feel about that? Because some people don't consider Tarkov right now competitive, right?
It's not.
Right.
Well,
It's not.
It's not. But how do you feel that is going to make Tarkov come into the competitive scene, as well as how's it going to affect other competitive games of the same caliber?
Yeah, so I look at it like it's a gateway drug to Tarkov for people that like Tarkov gunplay. They like watching it, but they don't want to learn every little thing there is to know about Tarkov because, like, let's be honest, there's 1,000,001 systems. And,
Jesus.
there's the shit that you find out on the back end, like, oh, you mean like M61 is like does more damage and like hurts armor more than M80, or Ultra Nozzler's bad? I don't know. What's durability? Like, I don't understand. Like,
Right.
you don't have to do any of that. You know what I mean? There's none of that garbage. So I look at Arena as like the gateway to Tarkov as a larger game.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be people that play Tarkov that have been playing Tarkov proper that'll go to Arena, and that'll be the thing that they gravitate toward, and that's what they want to play. But there's also like this massive potential player base of people that have been playing these other, you know, like competitive shooters that dig the idea behind Tarkov's gun mechanics, but they don't like everything else associated with it. And I look at it like it would introduce them to how Tarkov works. And through that, maybe they end up like going into like the larger game, or they just stay with that. For me, like a good competitive game has to have a level playing field. And the problem with the Tarkov competitions that have happened in the past is none of those playing fields are level. There's always some element of RNG involved, right?
Yeah.
In the case of other games, you know, like R6 or, you know, whatever, a round from a gun does X amount of damage to X thing, right? Depending on like the, you know, whatever you're wearing, like armor and stuff, like headshot, body shot, whatever. A round from X gun does X amount of damage to X person, body part, whatever they impact. In Tarkov, it's the same kind of way, but there's, you know, these other mechanics that come into play in like distance and, you know, damage and pen fall off and all this other shit, all these other ballistic mechanics. So I look at it like it will give people that like introduction with a scoreboard and like a level arena, like a level playing field where the objective is, you know, like let's say it's, you know, you're supposed to get a kill or, you know, capture a point, hold a point, whatever. So it ends up being much more like CS-ish in function, but has like Tarkov gunplay and movement mechanics and stuff. So I look at it as an overall positive. My only concern is that any other game that has ever existed that has any other ranking mechanic built into it, any other MMR, ELO system, whatever, it always turns into a toxic cesspool of douchebags that want to know, like, what are you? I'm Diamond. What are you? You know? Like, dude's just going to be fucking, like, brown tier, you know? Like, dude's rust tier. Like, fuck him. You know? Like, you're garbage. You know? Like, there's going to be a lot of that shit talk. I just don't want it. And then the other thing that concerns me would be, like, the Arena squad going, like, well, Arena's, like, where it's at. Fuck, like, Tarkov proper. All you do is play the base game. You don't know shit about this over here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like... It won't happen for like, mark my words, that won't happen for like it'll release and that shit won't happen for like the first 3 months. Yeah. Because for the first 3 months,
get established, right?
The Dominator are the ones that were rocking it through Tarkov proper the whole time. Right. It's gonna take a couple 2-3 months for like all the guys coming in from the outside to start like really learning it. But once they learn it, then it's gonna be a completely different playing field. And I personally look forward to like some relative unknown that's going to come in like the 14-year-old prodigy that played Fortnite and shit on everyone. I'm looking for that kid to come in out of nowhere and just start dunking on people in Arena. Like all these like OG vets that were like, you know, destroying people. Some kid is going to come in out of nowhere and he's just going to end up mopping them all. And I can't wait for that moment because I'm just gonna be like, you thought you were fucking good.
Right.
You know?
You thought you had it, didn't you?
Yeah. You thought you were the man. Look at you now. You just got dusted by an 8th grader.
Right.
You know?
I'm super interested to see how they're gonna do like loadouts. Like if it's gonna be like you bring in one loadout for the entire match, or if it's gonna be like a point buy kind of thing, or
yeah, I don't know. That's the one thing that I was wondering too, is like, how are they figuring out currency? You know?
Yeah, because they did say it was implied that it was lootable. Like stuff is still, from what I understood, is lootable still. So I was very curious about that too. Are you going to lose it every round, and then have to
lose it every
up,
round?
You know?
There's probably going to be like a storage thing. You know, like you own X amount of whatever. I would assume there's going to be some kind of storage thing. I would also assume that if you're like an EOD person, that stuff would end up like in your stash, you know, because if you own EOD, you get to use your own PMC and your own stash to bring in gear, right? So you could already have a prefab like decked out, like, you know, meta AKM or whatever, and you can bring that right in, and you could be level 30 where everybody else is using, you know, I don't know, Iokas. You know what I mean? Like they're hitting the back of a gun with a rock while you're running around dusting people with like a metagun. So I don't really know how that's gonna work. But I also he also said, depending on, your character progression inside of Arena, that you would have like unlocks. So my guess would also be that for the purpose of Arena, if you only had Arena, that there would also be like unlocks for Arena to be able to like build out a kit. So maybe there's going to be like a COD-esque kind of system where as you level up a weapon system or yourself or whatever, you finish certain objectives, tasks, that it would, you'd unlock the ability to have a shift grip on an M4 if you built one in Arena. So, but then, like I said, there's the object of currency. So I'm not sure. The other, what they could do is they could have like, if you're down bad broke, it could be that like the PvE progression could generate income for you. So if you need money, like you do like you do a pleb arena where the announcer throws you and your buddies into an arena against a bunch of shitbag scavs, and like you get $50 for dusting them up or something,
Yeah.
like you clear the arena out of some scavs, and like here's your prize money for like the undercard, which would be fine as long as you're not getting like any genuine progression out of like farming AI. That's fine with me.
Yeah, I agree with that. You shouldn't be able to do that. All right, so we're gonna move on to this to see what you think. So Lighthouse expansion, man. You've been playing long enough that you've seen quite a bit of map overhauls and stuff. How do you feel? Because in my eyes, this is definitely probably the smallest that we've seen so far. Because we're only getting like a tiny portion of the
Lighthouse
map. You know
expansion,
what I mean?
you mean being small?
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? Are you feeling? Because
So,
in
like,
my eyes, you know what I mean. It's just
so
such
like
a small thing.
yeah, them adding like that section of Lighthouse isn't all that big.
Right.
There was another note in there back, I don't know, however long ago when Nikita talked about it, where they're expanding something having to do with the water treatment plant too. And I don't know what that is, if it's an underground or if it's like another section, or you can get on the roofs of the buildings. I got no idea. I know that they're adding something to the treatment plant. But yeah, I mean, like in terms of like land additions, it's not very much.
Yeah.
I think most of this was more based around like, game mechanics. Like
that's what I
they
figured.
revamped all the animations and stuff, and like they look good. Like new like there's some like new added physics and stuff to the character animations, which looks pretty sweet. But yeah, I mean, like in terms of like land content or whatever, there's not a lot. They could be sneaking some shit in though. Like no one ever knows. Like for all this,
Nobody
for all the
ever
stuff that they tell you, there's like it's usually like 60% is what Nikita ends up telling us about, and then there's like this whole other massive wedge to the pie that never got any mention. And it's like, oh, did you know that this changed? Oh, what about over here? Because I remember like they did the customs expansion, and it was like, yeah, they added like this whole section to customs. But then you go and you walk around customs, like, well, that car didn't used to be there, and this over here didn't used to be there, and this entire train yard is now different, and that truck got moved, and they end up changing like a whole lot more than what they say. So yeah, I don't know. I'm interested myself to see like how they adjust stuff. It doesn't seem like it's a whole lot of land, but for all we know, they could have ended up adding like an entire separate section that they're not showing us to that map. And if they don't, they don't. Like. I'm just glad that we got anything new at this point. Like I just, like just give me
something.
Yeah, I'm on the white pipe. That's what I'm on.
I'm so tired of running around just sniping rogues because I'm bored. I'm on like rogue snipe like 5,000 or some shit at this point.
Right.
They showed off a bunch of new guns.
I want that Lapua.
Right? Yes.
I put down a
My
note
whole goal is
specifically
just
for the
like
Lapua
rush to
ability.
338. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
My thing was like the
you're for a blowjob, like whatever it is, man. Just give it to me.
The Mark 18 is already such an expensive weapon. Like it'd be nice to see if this Lapua bolty is a lot more accessible, because FMJ at level 4 Peacekeeper isn't that bad for Lapua. So you don't need to be spending half a fortune on ammo for. Well, I guess you can't buy AP now because of the flea updates.
Right. Yeah, it's like found only now. Crazy.
I want to see some sick trick shots with that single shot
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's no
Yeah.
longer
Oh,
Mosey,
dude,
man.
the
It's Lapua
Mark 8
Blanco.
or whatever.
Or the Mark 8 or the MP8 18
Or the
or something
MP8.
like that.
Yeah, the MP8. Yeah, that thing is ridiculous. That break action 54R. I love
You're
that
gonna
thing.
see me running that.
Thing is awesome.
It's gonna be a
Dude,
factory
that's
killer.
the newest like Timmy meme gun. That's the
Oh yeah, dude.
dude. You need one of those and a rhino on your hip with
Oh,
like
dude.
a tank helmet on, like a tank helmet, scav vest. You know, put a pack of smokes in the pocket of the scav vest.
Oh yeah.
You know, full on like Tex-Mex dad raid. That'd be great.
Tank helmets are OP right now. I don't know if you've been seeing what's been going on with them.
You're breaking up, brother.
You're breaking up bad.
You're dying.
I said tank helmets are pretty OP right now. I don't know if you've seen what's
No.
been going on with them.
I know what he's saying. He's talking about right now. He's saying that the tank helmet lately has been kind of broken in game.
Oh, the soft tank helmet.
Yeah, it's been tanking. I think one of them, he was playing with either him or somebody else. They put like 5 rounds into a scav, no damage. Like the dude was still running around. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, dude, those tank helmets. So it's literally listed as like a soft tank helmet, right?
Yeah.
Like it's made of like cloth padding. It has a high ricochet chance. It doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't. Yeah, it should be absorbing the bullet, not,
Yeah,
not
right.
ricocheting.
Listed as high ricochet chance. Doesn't make any sense.
Kevlar.
No, there you go.
Yeah.
Respect.
All right. Okay, that was weird. I don't know why it stopped working. So,
Sorry,
what,
you're good
what
now.
do you think is going to happen to EOD whenever they do 1.0? Think they're going to do away
Oh, they're
with
gonna
it?
take off the market. Yeah, they're gonna do
Oh,
away with
yeah.
it.
I think they
Yeah,
said
because
on
it'll be
Tarkov
like it'll be
TV
more
they're getting rid of it,
beneficial
I
for
think.
them, like ongoing monetization wise, to
Yeah.
just sell the DLCs instead.
Yeah, they definitely need to do that too. I as an
Yeah.
EOD player, I support that fully. Like,
I think in Nikita's mind,
100%.
he expected Tarkov to be out like a year and a half ago, you know,
yeah,
and like full release would have been a year and a half ago, and he'd already have like new revenue coming in from like released expansions and shit at this point. He doesn't want to be creating this game anymore. There's no way you can tell me he wants to. He looks so tired of this bullshit. Like he's just like, dude, whatever. I just want to make like my version of Stalker and like move on with my life. You know,
for real.
like he wants to do this Russia 2028 thing like real bad. You know, can't blame him. I wouldn't want to have to deal with half the nerds in this damn community. You know,
I would too
everybody
if I-
telling him to
if-
eat shit and die every time he ends up putting out a patch or says anything ever. Like, dude, the guy at this point, he doesn't even have like he's got a good number of followers on Twitter, but he made his Twitter account however many months ago. The guy will post like literally anything, and like one of the first responses he'll get is some douchebag like uncapped ping restrictions. Like, fuck off. You know, dude shares a picture of his Mustang. Fix the servers. You know, like it's just it's dicks. Like, shut
Yeah.
up, dude.
Dude, it's all the
That's, like-
time though. Everything they post, like, yeah,
Everything.
Solus always says it. Don't look at the Twitter.
Yeah,
Like, don't
I
look at
tell
any
them
of the
every
reactions.
time.
Don't read that shit.
There have been
I will
moments in the
go
past
through-
where they'll. Oh, go ahead.
I will go through their tweets and I will read through the comments and I just feel bad. And like I'll just go out and I'll
Yeah.
tweet like at BSG at Nikita. Thank you for making the game I love. I don't know if you hear this enough.
Like I'll end up writing like in all caps. Fix the servers, desync, ping bad, blah blah blah. No, BSG sucks, and then I just write there. I did it for you all. Now you don't have to bitch.
Right? I saved you the time. Don't say anything.
You're
We already
welcome.
know.
You're welcome. I handled it. You know.
Oh, am I asking this one? Is EOD pay to win?
Is EOD pay to win? I believe EOD is more pay for convenience.
That's
Then it
what
is
I've
pay
been
to win.
saying.
Pay for participation. That's
Yeah, it's pay for convenience. There's an absolute advantage to having a gamma container early in the game. There's absolutely no denying that at
Dude,
all.
Yeah, 100%.
But the biggest advantage that you will have ever in Tarkov is experience. Because
Yeah.
you can have some like, dude, I just spent 2 months going from 1 to 40 using nothing but my own 2 hands, found shit, and I paid fence. Like I used
Bro.
fence for cash and I had no gamma. Deleted the gamma, no scav runs, no paying for post raid healing, no buying food from anywhere, no insurance, no repairs, nothing. It was all the shit that I found, and I just went like, all right, well, the most farmable thing in the entire game is the rogue water camp or whatever. So
Right.
I spent the first like 2 weeks gathering all the meds and food that I could possibly get my hands on, finding bags and like stashes and shit. Farmed some scavs that had some backpacks after hatcheting one of them so I could have a gun. And then went farming rogues, started off farming rogues with a pistol. And as soon as I got a long barreled Scar L and 855 rounds, I sat up on that cliff and I farmed over 2,200 rogues with 1,950 headshots plus and got level 40. Right? Like,
So
you can do that, you know? Like
Yeah.
I didn't even have an alpha container. So with the biggest benefit being the gamma, okay, fine. But if you have enough experience in the game, you need none of that in order to feel like you've even been remotely successful. That character has more strength and endurance, more, higher strength level, higher endurance level, and more money with way more gear. I mean, like tier 5, tier 6 armor out the ass. I don't have any containers because I couldn't buy any.
Right.
But that character has way better stats. Way better. I have a 19.7 KD on that character and a 64% survival rate, and way better stats overall than my Sherpa account. My Sherpa account looks like dog ass. It looks like I've been fucking off, like just going broke, because I have
That's
been. I've
me.
been fucking off
That's
and going
me.
broke on purpose. You know, like I've been hemorrhaging money because I'm running around voiping at people like, "Hey man, what's up?" And then I get shot in the face. You know, so like just you don't need that stuff. It's pay for convenience, but it's not you're not gonna win shit. You're gonna get your ass beat no matter what you're doing, you know? That's why the RMT trade has been so successful, is because people will buy gear and then they get completely fucked and then they go buy more, you know?
Yeah.
I used to.
This is what I've been saying. Go ahead.
I used to think it was pay to. Well, I pretty much have always thought it was pay to convenience until I bought my cousin a standard account so we could play together. And I went over to his place and I was like, "Oh, this is easy." And he's got the small stash. He's like, "But I need to upgrade my stash." And I was like, "Okay, well, you know, all the other stuff in your hideout, you know, some spark plugs, some light bulbs, a pile of meds, all that junk." You go to the level 1 stash and they're asking for a rare big item and 2.5 mil, and just to get level 2 stash. And I was like, well, this might be a little bit more extreme than I thought it was. But
Yeah. The cost of the upgrades is a little bit prohibitive. But like, you know, again, anybody that's willing to put like a little bit of grind time in, you can teach somebody how to do a farming route that'll make them $1 million or $2 million an hour.
Absolutely.
Just by, you know, they could just run circles around the interchange mall on an EU server at 8 p.m. Eastern, you know, at night. Like do night raids at, you know, in Turkey at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when everybody's asleep. You'll never run into anybody. You know what I mean? You're coming out with just shit tons of gear, sell it all, and you know, like you can get there. It's going to be time consuming as shit, but you can get there. Of course, it's easy for me to say because I literally play this game for a living, you know. So,
Right.
you know, like some like normal people that actually have like lives, you know, lucky you. They're gonna have like, you know, maybe a little bit harder of a time than somebody like me.
Chat says if you're not willing to make money in an empty server, you're not playing right.
You goddamn right, boys. You goddamn right.
Yeah. So
hey,
I was
shout
gonna
out to my
say
Netherlands boys.
that experience, man. I mean, that's really what it makes. I started my standard this wipe during the no traders, literally an hour before we lost our first trader. I started on my standard account. 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm level 20. No traders, no quest, no fleet. I couldn't do anything. I literally grinded to level 20 in 2 weeks just by PvP during that time.
Yeah.
I was playing with Snow. We were just sitting there smashing everybody. I told everybody, like, it's not impossible. Just learn the mechanics, learn the maps, and you're good to go. You just need that experience. That's
Yeah. I had
That's
already
the
been in the
biggest thing in
Ultron Core
Tarkov.
challenge for a month, so it changed nothing. In fact,
right.
my experience improved because Fence had insurance and repairs that I could pay for. So I was like, fuck, I'm insuring everything. I'm transacting money with Fence. It counts. Like I was like, you mean I get to have insurance? It's been 5 weeks. Like, this is amazing, you know?
You have this new message getting insurance back and you're like, what is this?
Yeah. I was like, I can't, you know, like he never had ammo or anything else anymore, you know? But at that point I had like, I don't know, I probably had like 30 AFACs and, you know, like I didn't need anything. You know, once every like 15 raids, I had to go to Goshen and like fill up a big bag full of food, and then I would run it back and like stock the shelves. You know, It was like zombie apocalypse simulator. Like I was just running around like,
Right.
oh look, more tinned meat, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, like, but that honestly, like, that's the most fun. Like that 2 month run where I was grinding that was probably the most fun I've had in Tarkov in a long time because it actually felt like challenging and like everything that I did mattered. You know,
Yeah.
there was a couple of points in time when I was down to my last backpack because I had ran night interchange and ran into like that one guy that decided he was going to run a night interchange and he whooped me, or I ran into Killa twice in a row.
Mm.
I had a pistol, I had a backpack left, and I had a lot of meds in my stash, but I had no food left, and I was at like 50 energy and hydration. And I was like, if I don't get out with a bag of food, I am fucked. And then, you know, luckily it panned. But if I had lost like that last round, like if I had just one more bad round, I would have been like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to pull this off. I would have been hobbling into that place with like a broken leg and
Right.
like spamming meds to try and like, you know, find like a can of Sorry or some shit on a shelf in Goshen.
Just let me
No
survive.
joke. It was gonna be real hairy. But now it's almost like I kind of want to set myself up even worse than I started off before to see if I could pull it off, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Or like get to
You're
like
one-
level 20 and then have like a disaster and I have to like delete everything in my stash and now I'm level 20 and I have like no meds, nothing, and I have to like try
Oh,
and
that
pull it
would
off.
be good. That would be
It's
so
like if I
good.
caught a bleed or a heavy bleed, especially like if I had no money to be able to like hit up fence for a tourniquet, like I'd have to wait an hour, 2 hours for
Yeah.
me to get to full HP, a half hour for the heavy bleed to clear. You know, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
sit there and like twiddle my thumbs and play elevator music while I talk to chat and like, you know,
We're
play
just sitting chat.
Slither or some shit, you know.
Just your,
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
your
kind of
one
stuff
pick.
would be kind of crazy.
Just your OnePeg waddling around interchange and VoIP. Water.
Right.
Any of you whippersnappers got anything to drink? You know.
Right.
I don't need
You got a
it.
nice Diet Coke over there?
I
Hello,
don't
fellow
need it.
kids.
That's
Oh
hilarious.
man.
All right.
So
So what?
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you got that.
No, you go. So you.
So these ammos, I saw you did that video on M61,
On M61.
right? It was M61, M62
Which
with
video?
Trey. That was a evasion tournament.
Oh yeah,
video
yeah,
where
yeah.
you,
Yeah. It wasn't the M61. I actually kind of screwed that one up. So he was using. I thought he was using an RFB, but he was actually using a 308 MDR. 308 MDR is zeroed for M61, so it wasn't like a zeroing issue. It was actually shooting true. He literally
Yeah.
just missed.
Yeah.
Or it was just like really bad desync. Like it kind of like illustrated a couple of issues. Like there were like 2 shots I think that probably should have hit and didn't. But
Yeah,
the
I
other
saw
ones,
that.
it was like he was just off by like this much. And I was sending him screen caps. So I was like while I analyzed it for him, I was like, yeah, man, like you missed it by this much. You missed it by this much. I was like, it's actually kind of pissing me off because you're so good that being off by like literally 3 pixels is just like making me angry
Yeah.
for you because you should have
Oh,
had me,
absolutely.
you know?
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, my experience after that video, which is wild to me, I've noticed that like M61, M62 I have the same issues with it. It
Yeah.
doesn't always just nail it, right? And what the crazy thing that I experienced was I don't have that issues with 993.
Yeah. Me
And I was
neither.
like, wait, but it's higher up, you know? It's just so weird to me. I was like, if it's higher up, you figured it would be worse. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
I
thought
don't-
that
I
was
don't know
really
what-
strange. I don't know if you experienced it or if you've looked at
There's
any of that. Like,
There's been some hit reg stuff that a lot of
Yeah.
people in the community have noticed. And they've tried to make some adjustments with it. I think it's like where you see the hitbox and like where you see the hitbox is versus like where the server is registering what you're hitting on the hitbox sometimes.
yeah.
You know, because it's all simulated, right? Like we're
Yeah.
just seeing a visual representation of whatever the server is like running code on in the back. So like when we pull the trigger, like we're getting a visual representation of the server, like, okay, yeah, you pulled the trigger and then it hit this guy, you know, but it didn't really hit him there. It hit, you know, some other part of him or something. So
Right.
sometimes things get like really out of whack. I think it's more of like a hit reg problem than it is like the ammo. I think the stats on the ammo are fine. It's just,
That's what I'm starting to get to.
Something's going weird like on the server end, and they've been working on it. Like it's still happening. You know, people are still like taking videos of like shooting somebody in the face and like it's just not doing any damage.
Yeah.
I have videos. I have videos where I've shot dudes like somebody wearing a Ushanka, and you can see like the black dot in the middle of their like face, and like that's not the shot that killed them though. It was like the two that I hit him in the chest with after that. And it was like, all right, well that's weird, you know.
Yeah, you shouldn't be walking, but
yeah.
I would really like to see. It's on the top of my mind related to like ammo and zeroing and stuff because I was watching Dan Exert's video on sniper like training and stuff. And he mentioned the thing that they proposed to Nikita and BSG with the being able to change your guns to full ammo. Yeah. I would really like to see that implemented.
They already have a mechanic in the game that does that, but it only does it on the GL40. So when you a grenade is like 80 meters per second is like the travel speed, right, out of a GL. But they have that shotgun round that's like 300 meters per second. So obviously, if you have the gun zeroed like visually on a red dot at 80 meters per second, and then you put a shotgun round in it, where the reticle is on that red dot isn't going to make any damn sense because the round is going to shoot up there, right? Because of how Tarkov works, it's going to shoot at like a 30-degree up angle because of how the gun's zeroed. So depending on which round is in the GL when you start the raid, will determine where that red dot is set up for the entire raid. But it's the only gun in the entire game that will do that. So they already have that mechanic. So they already have that mechanic built into the game, but it's only for that one gun. And I don't know why they don't do it for the other ones. Maybe it's a coding snafu or some shit. But they should at least be, in my opinion, they should at least be doing it for shotguns because you can have buckshot, like a buckshot round out of a Saiga is like, I don't know, whatever it is, 300 meters per second, let's say. But then there's like super performance rounds that are like 550 meters per second. So now you have to zero for like half the height. So if you're going to shoot somebody at 200 meters, you have to be at like 50, maybe 100, and then aim at their face. Because if you set it at a 0 to 200, it's going to shoot up here. Yeah. You know, you're going to like overshoot them like real bad. Which you'd want to do because like you can, I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can use super performance because of the accuracy improvement. You can snipe people like out to 200 meters with a Saiga. We do it all the time. It's fucking hilarious. That's so gross. Dude, you sit up in the tower like on reserve and you shoot somebody over at the night building in the face with a super performance slug and you watch them drop. It's the funniest shit ever. It's so damn funny. You got it.
That's so
great. It's great, especially now that they
fixed
fixed like the scope optics on the shotguns. So now there's no eye relief issues, man. You put a voodoo on that thing and you just start shooting the lights out. It's funnier than hell.
I'm gonna do this tonight.
Dude, you got it down on labs. 100%.
It's great. It's great. But you have to aim low. You know what I mean? You have to aim low. Otherwise you end up shooting over the top of their head. So, if they could adjust, if they had a thing where it adjusted, you know, based on the round that was in the chamber at the start of the raid, like you'd be good. But right now, I think that they're working on something because Nikita said something about this in the past where he was trying to figure out a way to do that. Maybe they just used Dan's system. I don't know.
Yeah. I remember when they came out with the STM, and I didn't know about any of these mechanics yet with the gun not zeroing correctly. Yeah. And I put PPBS into it, and I put a scope on it, and I was like, I'm gonna go snipe on woods. This is gonna be so fun. And then I was shooting at some scavs, and I was like, where the hell is my bullet going? When I finally realized it was like way above them, I was just like, oh, this is sad.
Dude, I shot where the hell was I? I was on reserve using that STM, and I had 7 and 31 in it. Like when the day that it came out, and I want to say I shot a dude from the dome all the way out on top of the bunker doors, like on the grass, like on the top of the bunker doors. It was like 291 meters. I hit him in the head and killed him. And like I remember just screaming like, "We got him!"
I sniped with a Vector. I think that's the farthest I've got with a SMG. I was sniping on woods and I hit a 250 meter headshot.
Nice.
It was the first wipe that they introduced it, and I was like, literally, this is the most disgusting SMG I ever touched in my life. Yeah, and back in the next wipe they fucking cut that. I was like, thank God.
when they introduced the STM, that was like the old ballistic mechanics too, when you had to kind of shoot rainbows. Now it's actually way easier to snipe, like way easier. Like 993, you don't even have to like change the zeroing out past until you get out past like 275 meters. You don't even have to like raise the gun up. You know, it's just like a straight line right into their face.
Yep.
Yeah, I love 993. 993 out of like just a shitty cheap R700 with an SRD on the front of it is like, dude, that's like all I want to do. Like I just run around sniping dudes with that thing. It's fun as hell.
Hell yeah.
Actually,
I feel bad.
when 1212 first came out, Sacriel and I went to Lighthouse, and there's a raid where I had like 13 headshots on PMCs and scavs, where he's just like, yeah, there's movement over there, and then I'm just like dead. It was just 993 headshots like across the whole damn map.
Jesus.
It was funnier than hell. Actually, there was one where I ended up clapping a trio that was running, like we were up on that Pride Rock, like Pride Rock, the Lion King dead tree.
Yeah.
We're up on top of Pride Rock, and there was a trio running down by construction along that blue fence, and I dropped two of them. I dropped two of them right in a row with the bolty before the third one really knew what the hell was going on, and then he ended up he like sat by a tree and then did one of these, and then I like blasted him right in the forehead. They came into chat like, "What the fuck just happened?" And I was like, "That's an R700-993, son."
Yeah.
You're welcome.
That's 993 for you, man.
Yeah, dude, that was fun. Yeah, 993 is nice. That's a nice round. Yeah.
It feels good. It feels real good.
Dude, the ETS care package, if there's anybody who's an ETS tester, they gave, dude, the ammo that they gave me, I have like, so like there's the 900 rounds of BP meme, right? From like the old Christmas gift. Okay.
Yeah.
This time they gave us 900 rounds of 9x39 BP. Like for an AS Val, except they were all in the little 8-round packs.
Oh my god! Sitting there unloading each one.
It was 900 rounds of BP, 8 rounds at a time. I filled my stash twice and spent like right click open, like, dude, it was awful. It was fucking awful. But dude, they gave us like 300 rounds of 993 and like 300 rounds of M61, 900 rounds of 939 BP, like. It was 7.62 39 BP. They gave us another like 400 or 500 rounds of that. Like, dude, it was all of like the crazy meta ammo. I had to buy like 4 ammo boxes for all this shit.
Yeah.
No, sure. I had nothing because I had just reset my account. I had actually gone a month because I forgot that like the Christmas gift and like the ETS gift existed. Plus, I had like 2 months worth of Sherpa care packages, which are like a shit ton of meds. It's just like, yeah, you got your ass kicked. Like, here's like 30 IFACs and like all of these, it was just like a wall of meds. And I was like, what the hell am I doing with this? I had to sell off like half of it, but I had like nothing. I was like level 20 and I'm like, what am I going to do with this shit? So then I just started like running around with like, I actually just ran out of the 993. I've been sniping for like a week straight with the R700, just running around shooting people 10 rounds at a time, It's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have reached the hour point. I'm sure you're ready to get off, spend some time with the family before you gotta.
I'm actually gonna be going to bed soon, dude. I got like 5 hours of sleep last night. I'm whooped.
Jesus.
But I gotta do a mining run in Star Citizen first, I think.
Hey.
That or a bombing run. I might have to torpedo somebody. Dude, I did last night. I came across some random dude. I feel bad for him, but I came across some random dude. Like I'm, a stealth bomber, right? They can't detect you inside of like 4,000 meters or so. But you can pick them up you can pick any mid-sized ship or larger, like 8 to 10,000 meters. Like you can pick them up like 8 to 10K, and torpedoes go out to like 18,000. So some guy in like a Cutlass was just hovering above like some rando moon, and I had a mission, so I'm like flying by, and I was like dee, and he's just like chilling. I'm like, huh, what's that guy doing? I like turn around, like looking, he ain't moving. I'm like, fuck it, I gotta do it. So,
dude, that's messed up.
Got the firing solution, just like it's like dee, 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 and then you hit the button, and then you just hear the bay door open, and it's like, and then you just watch the thing sail off. I'm just sitting there like do, and then you just see like the big blue Corona, like he just explodes. He's like killed. I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, sorry, man. Yo, didn't even get a crime stat though, so he must have been an
my
asshole.
God.
So we're good.
Oh, hey, it's
Have
even
you had to
better.
break out of prison yet?
No, oh, I have. So I didn't even break out of prison. I got a mission. All right, so I don't know, like for you, if you're live or whatever. For the guys in chat that have never played Star Citizen, okay, the game's fucking massive. If you go to
Yes.
prison, it's not like a typical prison. It's like it's a hole in a moon. Like it's like the fucking gulag, except the gulag is miles of tunnels in a mine.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, like
Where you
literal
can die
miles.
very easy.
Oh yeah.
Very easily.
Luckily, like I think on my server, I was like the only one in prison, so like nobody fucked with me. But I got a
Nice.
crime stat. I got a crime stat because I went on a mission. I was supposed to kill one guy, and I torpedoed the person that was being attacked.
Oh no.
Like, got it for you, bro. Like I still killed him. I killed the bad guy after I killed the civilian and got my bounty. But then they gave me a crime stat, so I got blown up by the spaceport or whatever, and they sent me to prison. So you have to run around like and mine like shitty rocks, right?
Very
Or-
shitty rocks.
Or once in a while, they basically have like there's a mission that'll pop up, like go fix like a thing, okay? But it's a mission that pops up for everyone that's in prison, first come, first serve. But it gives so many like merits that it basically finishes your prison sentence if you're the person that gets it done. Mine was like, there's like, you go to like this main hub and there's like 3 big tunnels,
Yes.
1, 2, and 3, right? Mine
Yeah.
was tunnel 3, section like 12.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
dude, that's not that bad. That's
So
not that bad, bro.
I ran in a straight line. I think I ran 3 kilometers in a fucking like series of tunnels. Like just
Yeah.
kept going. And it was like, I was like, Jesus, like how deep does this thing go? And then I just saw like there was a 13
goes.
and just kept on going. Like it just goes.
Oh, it goes.
You'd
Yeah,
be
it
running in
goes.
one direction for like a half hour. And it's like, then you finish it and it gives you the merits. It's like, congratulations, you've blah 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 to get out of prison. I'm like, okay, well I can run all the way back there. I could just fucking kill myself. So I just committed suicide and like spawned back in the bed and walked out, But
Hell yeah.
apparently you can break out. Like you can
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
There's-
somebody has
not.
to pick you up, right? Like you can't just like get a ship.
No, you
No.
can. No, when you get up there, there's actually like a land vehicle you can jack,
Yeah.
and you can take off, and then
Or you can
yeah,
have a land
eventually.
vehicle and drive away.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if
you
you
can
can get to a
steal
certain
one of their
place, you
land
can
vehicles.
spawn in. There's a spawn point somewhere
really?
on the same planet where you can get your ship in. Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's not
a pain in the
easy,
ass,
but-
though.
You would still have your crime stat though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
so you would
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to fly away and then
go to
clear
Grim
it.
Hex. Go
You go to Grim
and
Hex
clear
and
it
then
that
just
way.
wait.
Yeah.
Because I think my sentence was like another 6.5 hours or something. I'm like, I am fucked. Like, what am I gonna do?
I got a
Oh, bro.
24-hour sentence once.
You had a
Easy.
24-hour
Yes.
sentence one?
Yes.
That's
Easy.
amazing. Yeah, dude, I
Easy.
completely nuked another player and I didn't get a crime stat. So I was like, wow, that guy must have been a dick. Like, I guess I did something right. Like, I just wanted, like, I hadn't blown up a player yet because I
Right.
had just
Might
bought
as
the
well kill
equipment. And I was like, oh, you got to be the lucky guy. Congratulations. Dude, nobody in chat said shit. Like, I blew him up and, like, there wasn't anybody in global chat, like, what the hell? So I was like, dude, we got away scot-free,
I actually, when I got that 24-hour sentence, somebody had killed me on Kara because I was basically baiting people who were coming to clear their crime stat.
Yeah.
And the
Oh, yeah,
dude
you
had
were.
killed me, and I had spawned back and went over there and jumped on his ship. He was in a Connie, and I jumped. He had his bay door down on the Connie, and I jumped on there and rode it all the way to wherever he was going till he finally lifted up the bay. And then I got back there and I was like, hey, what's up, guys? And they were like, what's your plan here? And I killed both of them and sent them both to prison. They were so fucking mad. And then I stole their ship and fucking crashed it into Grimhex, I think, and got a crime stat. And it was just like, how did you even let me on your ship? Because it tells you when somebody
Yeah,
gets on
exactly.
your ship.
Yeah.
Oh, it tells you that somebody got on it?
Yeah, so it'll
Yeah.
tell you that so and so, like whatever their in-game name is, has entered like.
Oh,
your
yeah,
ship
because
name
there's like
chat.
the chat for the ship, right? So
Yeah.
it says that
Yeah.
they joined like the chat.
Yeah,
Yeah. They just didn't even pay attention.
Yeah,
It's
they
hilarious.
didn't see it. They didn't see it.
Nah.
it was fucking great.
They're
I
probably walking away and stuff.
Dude, I just bought that entire set of like Bumblebee yellow like armor
Oh yeah.
Dude,
All the-
yes.
out of the shop. I was like, that is the best looking armor in the whole place, I like that. And like the big thick boy, like tempered,
Yeah.
the one that's got like the helmet that like distorts your vision
Oh
because
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah,
it's like that
Weren't
big.
you wearing the puppy suit? I was watching you the other day when you were playing.
Yeah,
I was laughing my ass off. I was
yeah,
like,
dude. Because I was like, yo, look how thick this boy is. Hell yeah, dude. And then I was like, yo, I'm hungry. And like one of my mods was, because I was playing with a couple of my mods. One of my mods was like, yeah, of course you are, fatty, or something like that. Oh, man, I gotta maintain my shape. What are you talking about? You know.
Right.
I was memeing one day and I went and bought the cat suit armor.
Oh yeah, with the yeah, I saw that.
And then I used my Go XLR to change my voice into a chick, and people were freaking the fuck out.
That's great. Yeah, it was. I was playing, or I was watching. Pool Shark, Bearkey, Genicles, all those guys just picked up Star Citizen like today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so they're all gonna start getting into it. And I was watching Bearkey try to like learn the game. Like to somebody that's never played it before, like in the first 45 minutes, she's trying to like figure out how to like jump somewhere. And I'm like, this is so frustrating. I was like, I feel so bad for her.
That's how I feel.
I love watching new players.
Yeah. I'm gonna probably hop on that here and there, but it's been fun, man. I like video games, you know. That's why we're all here, right?
Exactly.
Video games are fun.
Same, bro.
All right. Well, it was nice having you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me, boys. Appreciate it.
We appreciate it.